praisforward.com.
Hello, family and friends. How are you today? My name is Praise Forward, and I'm super excited to be with you again today. How are you doing, and how is it with you? Well, today is Thanksgiving in America, and so I know that I won't be able to do this live, but because not everyone listens to this show is from America, I have had to do this. So when it's playing, you can know that it's not live because I have to get into the mood of Thanksgiving. We thank God for how He's helped us. You know, it's been an amazing, amazing year, and we have every cause to be grateful to the Almighty God for everything we've achieved in 1 year. I mean, I've lived fully in America for like 1 year and 3 months, and the speed has been massive. God has been so faithful. Before then, I've lived in Canada, and lived in Nigeria, so I know the difference, right? So thank you very much for joining today. It's such an important day because we're going to get into another aspect of our discussion on parenting. Now, I've been looking at some of the superstars and the way they were raised because, like we say on this show, principles are universal, application is what is different. So it means that whatever has happened for one person can happen for you if you know exactly what you need to do. That oftentimes you don't have to be trying to reinvent the wheel. Basically, you just need to discover how people have done it successfully. And once you can discover that, you can replicate the same. Now, last week we looked at Elon Musk and the way Maya Musk raised Elon Musk. And I believe that you guys had a great time. But today, we're going to be looking at another guy called Mark Zuckerberg. And you see, I love what Virginia Sata is one of the top family life, earliest family life coaches that, the whole world celebrates. And she says, what lingers from the parents' individual past unresolved or incomplete often become part of our or is irrational parenting. That many of the times the challenges we have in parenting can be attributed to the trauma we faced as parents. And that's why you want to heal. Most of my parenting session, the first thing I do is the healing session, because if people are not wholesome, they're going to sabotage the best interest of their children. Now, the first question I would like to ask you is, can you raise a Mark Zuckerberg? Think about it for a moment. If the child in your end were Mark Zuckerberg, will Facebook and Instagram, will they have surfaced? Will those things have become a reality? Look at the way you're raising your child right now. And be very, very truthful and honest to yourself, because you see, when a parent's mind is closed, there is no innovation that can come out of the child that you're going to raise, because you would have conscripted the child that every manifestation that doesn't align with your known world of right or wrong or world of truth, you are going to destroy the child in your bid to helping the child. Now, how do you script the child who changed the course of our world forever with his social networking site? Everyone listening to me is on Facebook. Everyone listening to me is on Instagram. Of course, you know that he bought Instagram over, but Facebook, you knew Facebook. How do you handle a child who dropped out of the prestigious Harvard to pursue the future? If you have a child who was admitted to Harvard or Yale or Stanford and he drops out and say, I don't want to do anymore, how are you going to respond to that child? Will you clap for the child and say, no, I'm going to support you, right? And that's how you know that parenting is not a one-way traffic thing, because we all always feel that, let's get my child to school. When he gets out of school, he's going to be useful to himself. It doesn't always work that way, even though the decision is very tough. But whatever decision a child chooses, our job is to guide the child in the direction of his future. What parenting foundation engineered this young man to having satiable appetite for breaking new grounds? This guy, it's almost like he's one of the custodians of the data of our world. And that's why they say that, some of the biggest countries in the world will be India, China, America, and Facebook, right? As a matter of fact, I think it's Facebook before America, right? Based on the numbers that these guys control and the number of data that he has accessible to him. What does it mean to raise a 40.7 billion US dollar man, right? His wealth has dropped lately. It used to be much more than what it is right now, but even at that, if you have a child with that kind of money, you know what that means for you. But it's not just about the money, it's the capacity to sustain his open mindedness and prepare him to live the life that is living at the moment. Now, you see, this guy was born Mark Elliott Zuckerberg on March 14, 1984. He's an American media magnate, internet entrepreneur, and philanthropist. His parents are Karen, a psychiatrist, and Edward Zuckerberg, a dentist, right? Now, Zuckerberg was raised in a Reformed Jewish household. Of course, that's another Jew in there. At Adley High School, Zuckerberg excelled in classes. After 2 years, he transferred to the private school Phillips Exeter Academy when he won prizes in mathematics, astronomy, physics, and classical studies. Now, that decision was a masterstroke for him. Can you know at what point your child should move from a particular school to another school? Can you help your child take that decision together with them on the kind of school they should attend that can, hone their skills and bring out the best in them? Zuckerberg began to use computers and writing software in middle school. His father taught him the Atari's basic programming in 1990. What if his father was not interested in his father never knew anything about tech at that earliest stage, right? Now, his father later hired a software developer, David Newman, to tutor him privately. Now, so you see why you need to hire a tutor to help your child become the best at what he does once you spot the potential in your child. And that's why I have consistently told you guys that ages 0 to 3 is the age for scouting. You need to activate your capacity to spot the signal your child is showing. And if you have to pay extra because school cannot give everything, for example, if your child has a musical aptitude, it's not going to get the best of that at school. You need to get an extra teacher to train your child. Now, Zuckerberg took a graduate course and at St. Mary's College near his home while still in high school. Can you see that? He was in high school, but his father was paying for a graduate course for him. He built a software program called Zucker that allows all the computers between the house and dental office to communicate with each other. Now, you can see from this that he had a free environment where his potential can find expression. His parents ensured that they created the environment and they were able to spot his potential early, and everything he needed to excel, they provided it, including getting him a mentor, getting him a tutor, and getting him to take courses way ahead of his time. Now, one of the questions we want to examine is, how was this guy developed? How did he become the person that he is today? Now, one of the critical points I'm going to make today, which is about the only point I'm going to make based on my studying of how he was raised, is the fact that your personal growth and examples gives your child a huge heritage. Your personal growth and example. That is why if you are a parent who is not developing yourself, you are not doing well for yourself and you're not doing well for your child. If you are close-minded, all you knew were the 1980s, 1970s knowledge, you have not grown, you don't understand the new things, you have not developed your mind to be able to curiously decipher, understand, study, question what is not clear to you with a view to being a student to discovering new things. Many of us are made in our mind in the sense that we're not open to discovering things that doesn't align with our known truth. So when your child is manifesting consistently what contradicted the knowledge you used to have, you begin to fight your child because all you're trying to do is to conform your child to you. If all your child becomes is you, what is the greatness your child is going to attain? Because the best you can produce is who you are right now. And I'm sure many of you don't like this you because you look back and you thought if your parents are taking different decisions about you, maybe you would have manifested higher. Now, let me balance something. All of us are not going to become a Zuckerberg, but all of us can become fulfilled at what we are called to do. Now, his father is a dentist. His dad worked for himself because he had seen his own parents become poor working for others. So even though his father, had a job before, he started working for himself. So he set up a dental clinic at home, right? And he modeled how to work. His mom was a psychiatrist and certified to do her work. His ancestors hailed from Germany, Austria, and Poland. So you can see again heritage. So which means he could have carried an American passport, an Israeli passport, passport, a German passport, an Austria passport, and a Polish passport. What that means is don't sit, especially if you are listening to me and you are in a country that doesn't give you that leverage. If you're in a country whose passport can only get to 20 countries, and those 20 countries are not the kind of countries your children want to go to, you need to aspire to create another alternative that can give leverage to your children. And beyond that, a good man leaves inheritance for his children's children. You want to look at your heritage. What stands you out? What is that good name that can open doors? The good attribute, the good relationship, the good leverage, the networking that can open doors for your children. Dr. Zuckerberg is a dentist. Even today, he runs his practice out of the Zuckerberg family home at 2 Russell Place in Dobbs Ferry, New York. His wife, a licensed psychiatrist, worked as his overqualified office manager. As you can see that. They both work together. He said, as a result, young Mark grew up watching his parents take responsibilities for their livelihood and run the business out of their home, as well as using the most modern technology of the time. So don't joke with tech. Don't just sit down and say, what are you doing on your phone? No, you can guide them. You can seek to know. They will teach you a lot of things. He said, my kids all grew up around the office and were all exposed to computers, right? There are advantages of being exposed to computers early on. That certainly enriched Mark's interest in technology. Now, imagine all his father put around the house were drums. Maybe it would have been a drummer. But by creating the environment, every new thing, which means the man was exposed in his mind. You cannot be close-minded as a parent. You cannot be the parent who cannot see beyond your environment. You have to consistently ask, what's new, what's new, what's new, so that you can make it available within the parameters of your family, so that your children, don't tell me you are broke. Don't tell me you don't have enough money. There is always what you can have. You may not have the most sophisticated laptop, but at least you can have a desktop, kind of. So Dr. Zuckerberg's templates include: one, it says, show your kids responsibility by modeling working for yourself and others. If you work for others, model how a professional should work. Don't talk down your boss in the presence of your children. Be the number one, be the most incredible, be the most indispensable leader in the organization you work for. And if you work for yourself, don't be slothful. Get up, get dressed, get on your seat. Don't be that kind of person that models sleeping in bed all day to your children. They observe what they see you do, especially within ages 4 to 6. Number 2, provide security, because he helps them take risks. He made money available. He made all kinds of things available that enabled him to take risks. So he could blow up a computer because the man is going to fix it, right? So poverty is not your portion. It's not something you want for yourself. So you have to consistently ask yourself, what kind of work do I need to do? What kind of business do I need to get into that can provide leverage for my children, that can give a bit of security? Because when it's not enough, that's where we manage everything. Because in the bid to manage, you promote scarcity mentality, where you tell you that, I don't have money. If all they hear consistently is I don't have money, you would have built a mentality of scarcity wherein they look at their world as if resources are scarce. And many of us were raised that way, believing that resources are scarce, according to a theory by Adam Smith. Now, he was just looking at physical resources. He wasn't thinking about tech and mental resources and intellectual property, as it were. Now, he said, discover and encourage your kids' interest. Let them be steering their life in the direction of their strength and passion. Don't superimpose yourself on your children. Let them move in the direction of their passion. Don't try to compensate yourself by forcing your child to do whatever you couldn't do. No way. Now let them observe them and steer them in the direction of their passion. Their passion may not be as glamorous as what you wanted, but can they become number one at it? Next, tell them you're proud of them. Mark Zuckerberg's dad said that all the time. All the time, I always ask parents, if you check, and you can observe yourself this way, between the positive information you give to your children versus the number of times you try to correct them, the number of times you shout on them, you scream on them, you give them command, can you check? You realize that you are complaining much more than you are affirming them. There are things they are doing basically that you don't affirm. Like they wash their plate, they sweep the floor, like they arrange their room, like they wake up. You don't affirm them because as far as you are concerned, that's too mundane, right? Tell your children you are proud of them. So why don't you pause this right now and bring your children together? Let them know you're proud of them. When was the last time you said that? Next, set limits and enforce them. He said he never beats his children. So as a family, they set the rules together. But once the rules are set, he even places himself under the rules and then, ensures that he doesn't go above the rule. Many of us set rules, but we break the rules as parents. So you cannot tell your child, do this, do this, do this. You cannot even arrange your space. You cannot even keep an excellent environment. No, it's not going to work that way. You can't tell them wash your plate, but you finish eating and you dump your plate. No, leadership must be by example. So set limits, enforce it, and let the law also catch you when you violate the laws. Right? Then balance is key. Balance work with play. Balance work with play. Many of us, you want your children to be serious, that when they are playing, that's where you complain. If you're always complaining when your children is playing, it means their play reminds you of what life took away from you. And lastly, don't grow too fast. The man said he kept young so that he can be in touch with his children. You know, many of us, your children look at you as old school, right? You need to drop the weight. You need to be young at heart, and you need to be able to talk and hang out with your children. These are some of his favorite quotes. He said, the greatest success comes from having the freedom to fail. Now, from what I've shared, you can refer that back to what his parents, taught him. Then he said, move fast and break things. Unless you are breaking stuff, you are not moving fast enough. So be open-minded, be free to fail, be free to learn how things work. Many of you don't want your children to fail. So may you not fail, you say amen. No, let your child fail, but let them fail forward. Failure is not the end of the world. Failure is simply research and opportunity, research and development. It's actually the raw material that shows that there is something I have not mastered. And when he was asked, because you must have noticed, he seems that he wears the same jerseys all the time, like you see me wear red all the time, right? So sometimes people think that, oh, I'm repeating the same clothes. No, look at what he said. He said, I really want to clear my life so that I have to make as few decisions as possible about anything except how best to serve this community. I'm in this really lucky position where I get to wake up every day and help serve more than 1 billion people. And I feel like I'm not doing my job if I spend any of my energy on things that are silly or frivolous about my life. So that way I can dedicate all of my energy towards just building the best product and services. That was when it was asked, you don't dress, you don't wear luxury. Those things are frivolous to him. They are mundane to him. If you are in the fashion industry, they may not be frivolous and mundane to you, right? So can you raise a Zuckerberg? Right? Can you look at your children right now and ask the question, what is in this child that I have not paid attention to? You want to do that right away so that you do not kill your children in your bid to say you want to correct the child. Many of us do that consistently. We destroy a child in our bid to build the child. Guys, you have all it takes to become the best set of parents in the world. My job is to coach you to achieve that. Now, I have a class coming up in the month of December. If you're in North America or you're in the UK, right? Maybe not America because the time zone might be a bit different, right? It's also going to hold in Africa in the month of January. But if you have never scored your goals, there is a science that can get you to attract everything you need. That's what I'm going to be teaching. It's going to be 4 days, 2 hours every night, from I think Tuesday to like Friday. They're about on Monday to Friday, Thursday or something. You don't want to miss it for anything. So use the link that is scrolling. Go sign up. You can't afford to miss that class. The details are right there. Okay. Thank you very much for joining me today. It's Thanksgiving. If you're in America, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your day. Make sure you keep some turkey for me, and then send me the wine. Okay. Thank you, everyone who has joined today. What have you learned? Please drop your comments on the chat box. And please, I'm so sorry I have to do this recording for you. I look forward to seeing you next week. Till then, keep loving, keep believing, and get the best out of your child. Bye-bye.